Glorybringer, Moonblee, Clairol, Ripnami, Blicket. Wings of Fire is filled with ships, and these are just a few. While some ships are more, let's say, contentious than others, looking at you, Moon, Winter, Keebly love triangle, I think we can all agree that Wings of Fire is a series with a lot of romance. After all, 12 out of the main 15 characters and their books or arcs in romantic relationships. And that's not even touching side characters, Legends books, or non-canon ships like Winter Watcher or Sunnyflight. So today, with Valentine's Day on the horizon, I want to talk about the ships in Wings of Fire. The good, the bad, and the non-canon. Really quick before we get into this, I want to let everyone know that my ship keychains will be on sale from today until Valentine's Day. Until last Christmas, there were only 3, but I designed a Turtle Jew charm as part of the 2025 mystery box, and that's actually the art that'll be playing over today's video. So whether you have all 3 and want to add the 4th, you've never bought any, or you got Turtle Jew in the mystery box, all 4 of these ship designs are 25% off for the next 6 days. So use the link in the pinned comment or the description to head over to my store and check them out. And with that, let's get into today's topic. So, I'm not going to talk about every ship in Wings of Fire because, well, frankly, I have other things to get to today. But I am going to talk about some of my favorites, some of my least favorites, and the pairings doomed to live only in fanfiction. Starting us off, let's talk about the good, the healthiest and least problematic relationships in this series. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start us off with Moonblee. Let the fighting begin. Okay, I'm half joking, but I do actually think that this is a great ship. I've talked about it at length before, and knowing me, I probably will again. But I love that their relationship grows slowly over several books, and I love the way that they treat each other. Moon has this unique appreciation for Keebly thanks to her insight into how his mind works. We know that Keebly struggles with the idea that he's dumb or a bad dragon or worthless, I think in part thanks to his upbringing, and I love that when Moon tells him he's smart and a good person, he literally has no excuse not to believe her. To me, Keebly is an overthinker incarnate. For anyone else, I feel like he'd find a way to doubt them if they said that. But Moon has literally read his mind. If she thinks he's good on the inside, he's got no reason to disbelieve her. In the same vein, I feel like Keebly has always been very accepting of Moon and her powers. Past the first shock of finding out about her, he did decide to trust her, and consistently chooses to judge her based on her actions instead of her tribe or what she's hidden from them. I feel like Keebly respects Moon and her powers in a way that's really good for her. So I think that Moonblee is a great ship. It grew organically, they respected each other a lot, and they both make each other better and happier. Next is Blicket, another super cute ship that I've talked about before. I feel like Blicket has this kind of young love innocence to it. Despite both Cricket and Blue coming from very different backgrounds, they seem genuinely interested in each other's lives. They care about each other, and I think it's great that, especially in a culture so divided, they're able to look past those tribal boundaries. I also feel like their personalities complement each other really nicely. Blue is the empathetic, friendly, emotional dragon, and Cricket is this more focused, curious, how does the world work dragon. I think that plays nicely together. Another thing, I think both of them genuinely care about other dragons and are curious about their way of life, their feelings, and their experiences. And it's cool that they are each other's bridge to another culture, as it were. Blue is the first Silkwing Cricket really meets, and Cricket is the first Hivewing that Blue really meets. So it's a cool contrast. Despite its other failings, the third arc does introduce us some great ships, because Sword Luna also made the cut. Although they spend a decent part of the arc separated, like 85% of it, they're such a great couple. I love how the entire time they're separated, Swordtail is just totally rabid about it. That's dedication. I wish we'd seen more of them together. Book 15 doesn't count, ugh. Because genuinely, they make me so happy. This ship has a slight, forbidden romance flavor to it, even though they aren't actually even a hybrid couple. I don't know, it's just the vibe that I get. I think it's nice that with everything going on for them, they're both still thinking about each other in some way. It's this cute little background relationship that's going on during an otherwise busy arc. Swinging away from Arc 3, I love Starseeker. I think it's so cool that Starflight found another Nightwing who, like him, was raised off the island by the Talons of Peace. They have so many shared life experiences, and at the same time, so many differences. But this mostly comes down to personality for me. I think they complement each other really, really well. Fatespeaker is this bubbly, energetic, and charming dragon, and I think she does a great job of pulling Starflight out of his own head. Especially post-injury for him, I think it's important how much happiness she brings into his day-to-day life. And same for her. Fatespeaker gets a little crazy sometimes, and I feel like Starflight is a great stabilizing influence on her. I feel like his calm is kind of grounding for her. I actually think Sunny is kind of the perfect mix of both of these personalities. She can be chipper and excited, but she can also be serious and focused too. Anyways, Starseeker is a great ship, and I love the little glimpses of them that we get in Arc 2. And of course, y'all didn't really think I'd get through the good ships without mentioning Glorybringer, right? How could I? Ne'er-do-well assassin turned moon-eyed idiot because he's tail over claws in love with local sarcasm queen? Snarky, emotionally closed-off, unwanted child learning what it's like to be the 100% love of his life focus of someone else? What's not to love? I've also talked about Glorybringer before. This was also a bit of a contentious ship back in the day. I don't know if you youngins still argue about it or not, but there was a while where everyone was really steamed about this because Tui accidentally made like a 4-year age gap between them. She later retconned that and said it was an accident and unintentional on her part, so it's kind of smoothed things over. Anyways, there's some fandom history for you if you've never seen any of the OMG age gap arguments. Anyways, I freaking love them. Deathbringer lost his mom really early and swore that when he found someone to love again, he'd do everything he could to keep them alive. So when he falls in love with Glory, he falls all the way in love. I love how he barely even tried not to be in love with her. He was actively trying to assassinate her friends while he was also flirting with her. And that's bad, obviously, but it's also kind of hilarious. He was so gone, and he didn't even know it. I also love that Glory, for the first time in her life, is experiencing unconditional love. Like, one of the reasons that she's so emotionally closed off is, obviously, because for literally her entire life, she grew up hearing about how useless she was, how she was an unwanted replacement, how she was a failure. Is it any surprise that she stopped seeking love and affection? And obviously her friends loved her, but the Dragonettes of the early Arc 1 were not without their faults and squabbles. Sure, they were ride or die, but they were also siblings. And anyone with siblings knows what I mean by this. So I think it's great that Glory is getting the chance now to learn what it's like to be the center of someone's world. Deathbringer is so gone for her, and I love how by the second arc we can see her gradually coming to open up to that affection. She's learning how to be loved, and that's so awesome. So yeah, they're a great ship. I could go on about Glorybringer, and maybe I will at a different date, but dang, they're so awesome. And of course, for honorable mention, Mangrove and Orchid, two dragons so in love they told separate main characters about their missing love interest in separate books. They're the real ones. And from here, we're going to talk about the bad. Ships that are unhealthy, poorly matched, or just plain boring. And while this may surprise you, first on my list is actually Clairol. Yeah, okay, I said it. And I've drawn them before, and I probably will again, because their colors match and I'm a sucker for cool color palettes. But when I'm thinking about their relationship, like actually thinking about it, I don't dig it. Not gonna lie, it just strikes me as a little weird. For Clay, it always seems like 50% guilt and 50% straight up Stockholm Syndrome. And Peril is like weirdly obsessed with the first person to be nice to her who isn't 80 years old. Like, I don't know, it just kinda icks me. And like the whole thing where he's the only one she can touch without burning, even though it still hurts, that's just kind of weird. Like, that's not a good reason to have a whole relationship. And Peril's, like, obsessed with Clay and what he'd want and what he'd think, and it's, like, obsessed in a weird way. Not in a cute Swordtail or Deathbringer way. Like, she has no life or desires outside of Clay. And that's not healthy. And then with Clay, I feel like he's always feeling guilty, like he has to spend time with Peril or something because he's the only one who doesn't hate her, and he feels bad that she has no friends. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. Some of y'all probably really like them, and you're like, Cyprus, why are you being such a hater? But I just feel like it's not a healthy relationship. I think Peril needs time to find her own interests and her own personality outside of Clay. It's like Clay replaced Scarlet in a way. Even though he's not manipulative and evil, Peril used to only care about what Scarlet thought, and now it's the same thing with Clay. And I think Clay is one of those people who just needs to learn how to say no and move on with his life. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that ship, though I do like drawing it. I don't know, I contain multitudes. Next on my naughty list is actually the next ship from the series. Yeah, books 1 and 2 weren't great for long-term romance. Ripnami isn't bad, I guess. It's just lame. Their only crime is being boring. Does Tsunami ever think about Riptide or mention him again after book 2? I honestly can't remember. That's not a good sign, folks. Also, another case of falling in love with one of the first people you meet. I am not a fan of that trope. It probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone that Darksight is on this list too. This is another ship I've talked about before, more recently than some of the others. They seem cute on the surface, in a destined lover's way, but the more you look at them, the more you're like, okay, I see the problems. I won't beat a dead horse since I went into great detail during that Darksight video when I made that holographic sticker, but to share the basics, Clearsight could never get the potential future version of Darkstalker out of her head. She was always at least subconsciously blaming him for things he hadn't done or would never do. And Darkstalker was too focused on their great future to see how his actions were affecting her in the now. He was too ambitious, too bitter, and too quick to anger. And they never had time to work any of those issues out before outside factors forced their story into an early end. And finally, would it even be a proper list of bad Wings of Fire ships if I didn't mention Arctic Slayer? Of course not. They're legendary bad. I've talked about them too, and they had potential to be great, but in the end, the pressure of the world they lived in ruined their lives. Arctic was so unhappy and bitter and resentful to Foeslayer for the things she had no control over, and Foeslayer was so concerned with everyone around them. They ended up being really unhealthy for each other, and we all know how that affected other events. But of course, we still have to address the non-canon in the room. And though I won't be touching on many, because there's literally endless non-canon ships, I am going to talk about some of the most common pairings. Well, most common may be a stretch. I'm going to mention the ones that I actually have opinions about. And once again, I'm throwing us off the deep end with Winter Watcher. Yet again, this is a ship I've talked about before, and I don't hate it, I just think it would be unhealthy. Although I think Winter and Moon are friends now, they had a really rocky start, and Winter was still in his prime I don't know how to be nice phase. Also, I think his more anger-prone attitude would be really bad for Moon, who struggles with her nerves and anxiety enough as it is. If things had happened differently, or started differently, or if they'd had more time, maybe this could have been a thing, but as is, I don't think they'd have made a very good pair. Sunnyflight is another non-canon ship that I'm really glad did not work out. If they came from different places, maybe something could have happened, but guys, that's her brother. That's his sister. I'm a big Dragonets of Destiny as siblings truther. I don't like shipping them with each other. I get that Starflight was in love with her or whatever, but A, Sunny wasn't, and B, that's like puppy love stuff. They make great friends, but I don't think they need to be anything more than that. Pirtle, or Peril and Turtle, is a non-canon ship that I actually kinda dig. This isn't an anti-Turtleju thing either, I just think he could also be a good fit for Peril. Their personalities play really well together. Turtle lacks confidence, Peril is all confidence, Peril sucks at thinking ahead, that's literally Turtle's only character trait. I also like that Turtle is one of the few dragons who might be on level with Peril in terms of danger. This is different from the clay can't burn so they must be destined thing. Turtle could literally kill Peril if he wanted to. And I think that means he's not afraid of her in a way almost nobody else can truly be. And that's so new and so intriguing for her. I like Turtle and Kinkajou, but I really, really want to explore what a Peril and Turtle relationship would look like. I think what that would say about Peril's character would be so much more interesting than all this obsessed with clay garbage that's going on with Clairol right now. Final mention, Winterlynx is another non-canon ship that I could get behind. I don't know much about them, but I feel like they could work. Their personalities are a good opposites attract thing, and Lynx doesn't seem fazed at all by Winter's rudeness. Also, Lynx doesn't seem to think he's a huge failure or whatever for not soloing a whole group of Skywings when he was like 3. I don't know. I dig it. They could be cute. You may be thinking, hey Cyprus, there's one super obvious ship you forgot that you're literally drawing right now. But I'm actually kind of ambivalent about Turtlejew. They're not bad. They're not good. They're cute enough. I still want to know what Pirtle would look like. There was the whole weird bit with an enemy's love spell. I don't know. I like them, but not enough to definitively put them in the good category. But much like Clairol, I do like their color combo, which is why I keep drawing them, because, as you know, I am a sucker for a good color palette. And that concludes the good, the bad, and the non-canon. Just a reminder, my ship keychains featuring Glorybringer, Moonblee, Blicket, and now Turtlejew are available in my store 25% off for the next 6 days. That sale will end on Valentine's Day, so if you're interested, there's a link in the description and the pinned comment. Please let me know in the comments what y'all think. Do you agree with my placements? Did I start any blood feuds with my bad ships? What's a non-canon ship that you would like to see in canon? If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like or subscribe to see more like it. Thank y'all for watching, happy Valentine's Day, and have a blessed week.